Hi again from Browns Bay. It's the early hours of the morning, and I thought I'd share a few ideas with you. It's been quite hectic, a lot of things happening, but what about on the inside of us? How do we feel? We've got just under 21 hours to go before the crisis level 4 kicks in, and I've been thinking about uh, my emotions and how I've coped with things so far, and here are a few things that have been interesting. The cancellations, when they began happening, it suddenly dawned on me that we probably should let go of a whole lot of things. So much that we do just consumes our energy. What was the hardest thing to say goodbye to? I think it was the Auckland Fellowship Band, actually. We play music together, and we made a decision to shut that down before the lockdown came, realizing that it would be really tough not to see each other because we really enjoy making music together. We have that language of music that keeps us together as a team. But the closures of services and schools and workplaces, as things began to shut down, I wondered whether we just have too many things happening, too many programs, certainly in the church. They seem to clutter our lives and overwhelm us. Um, and also that work probably is too dominant in our lives. It seems to take an awful lot of time. Time is actually quite an interesting thing. We really have the tyranny of schedules in this 24-hour day. Before clocks, it was more about rhythms and the routines, sunrise, sunset, and the things you could do at certain times, and not this obsession with deadlines. Have you noticed how we talk about time? We say that things are a waste of time, or even people are a waste of time, that we should save time, as if it's something that you can stash away in the bank. So along the way, concerns have begun to dominate people. Have you noticed the anxiety? Things like unreal things, things that like starvation, separation, seclusion, solitude, and setbacks. A whole lot of things that have overwhelmed people. Shopping mania has been one. Very interesting to watch people wrestling over the strangest items in the supermarkets. The idea that we should be stockpiling, that we should run out. We've been told so many times here in New Zealand that there's always going to be enough for everybody, and yet people cannot help themselves. And then I think the idea of separation and seclusion, the idea of being housebound is actually quite challenging for people. We were watching a Kiwi in China who's been through many weeks of isolation at home. What did he say? His advice last night on TV: the first 2 weeks were the hardest. Well, that's encouraging because we might only have four. Although, well, you just don't know, do you? His greatest regret: this was really good, not getting a haircut before going into lockdown. Well, as you can see, I've done that, and maybe I've got something sorted out. The other thing that's been interesting is the terms that we use. I don't know about you, but I keep getting them confused. I've been trying to make a list of them and think, what is it that we're talking about? Social exclusion? Nope, it's not that. That's actually something where people are denied access to various rights and opportunities and resources that are normally available to people in a different group, and which are actually people are excluded from. It's kind of a human rights thing. So it's not that we're talking about. Solitary confinement? No, it's not that. Working as a prison chaplain, I definitely know it's not that. Talking to the guys in the prison when we go out there. Um, Self-isolation, well, it is that for some people, because that's really an effective measure to protect those around you, your loved ones, your family, friends, and colleagues, from contracting the COVID-19. And it means taking simple, common sense steps to avoid close contact with other people as much as possible, like you would do if you had a seasonal flu or something like that. Social distancing is the interesting one. That's really challenging in the supermarket queues. Um, One of the funniest pictures I've seen is entitled "Scotland has always been ahead of the curve." It's a photograph of a piper playing the bagpipes, and it has a description at the top: social distancing tool. Well, I don't know if my Scottish friends will be thrilled by that, but it is really, really funny. Um, Walking the dog yesterday, I met neighbors I've never seen. That was interesting. Social distancing has a weird kind of angle on it. People were having this long distance conversation with neighbors across the road, and it was actually good to hear them talking to each other. And then a new lady came who just moved in next door, and from a distance, she was having a conversation too. I wonder if we're not changing in the way we do things. A lot of good things are coming, I suspect. Just in this short reflection, less concern with programs, I suspect, and more time for people and individuals and listening to them. I would hope and think that there'll be improved care for the ones who are actually always alone already. It's been really great to see people in Britain take a guitar and sing outside a rest home, and people looking out the windows, enjoying the music, or all those people in apartment blocks singing together or doing exercises in various buildings in the street. There's a whole lot of good stuff that comes out of this. I think, as I said yesterday, the planet is benefiting. It was interesting to see that in Vienna. For the first time in a long time, they were able to see, not in Vienna, I beg your pardon, in Venice, they were able to see fish in the water because the pollution in the water has begun to clear. The air pollution of Italy was noted as having reduced remarkably. So our carbon footprint certainly has been decreased. A lot of interesting things happening. But most of all, I think it may be a reinvention of who we are, because as painful as and tragic as this is for families and communities where people are critically ill, it's a terrible thing to see, or are dying or have already died in their droves. Out of this, I think the world may become a better place in all kinds of interesting ways. So watch this space. I think we might have another chat again tomorrow. When we're actually in lockdown, it will be interesting to know how people feel when they are at home and they have to go through this reinvention of themselves. If you didn't listen to my little talk on working from home, have a look on here and you'll find that that's quite helpful. A number of people have enjoyed it and have thought it a useful tool to cope with this new experience. Well, it's probably enough from me. Keep in touch and be blessed, and don't lose your peace in all of this. God promises perfect peace for those who trust him. And the Bible tells us again and again not to be anxious, but in everything, by prayer and with requests, bring our needs to God, and his perfect peace will help us. I pray that that peace will be yours in the next hours and days and weeks ahead. So bye-bye from Browns Bay. I think I should probably go and sleep again because it's still early in the morning. Take care. Bye-bye.